Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is early in the morning. I stayed up all night last night. It's Saturday morning right now, and I didn't pull an all-nighter intentionally, but I went out to the bars and I just had a heck of a time. And sometimes I'll explain this in more depth in other videos, but I'm not sure if you get a similar experience when you're drinking alcohol, but when you're substituting momentum for alcohol, the upward spiral can kind of, you can have residual upward spiral into your bed, and so then you can't sleep. So anyway, I'm up early this morning. I didn't have to actually wake up. I stayed up all night just like editing and did some journaling and planning and things like this. So anyway, it's a beautiful morning out here. I'm at Lake Apsaraka in Cheyenne. It's near Lions Park. They're doing Super Day today. I was gonna do shooting over there, but there's a bunch of like traffic jams and they're redirecting traffic and all that stuff. So I just decided to stay away from that mess and come over here and see this pretty lake, which is empty. There's one truck over there. I think they're doing some fishing. But aside from that, oh, there's a geese. There's some geese. Here, I'll show you the family of geese. Maybe I can, without messing up my shot. Maybe, here, let me zoom in. Maybe you can see them a little better. See the geese? Little family. Even the babies. Cool. Alright, let me zoom back out and get back to my shot. I like to see a little bit of that lake. Sorry, the ground's kind of uneven. I'll just edit this out probably. Alright. So for this second video of the channel, still kind of getting the ball rolling here, I figured I would do a little bit more introduction, like a little bit more philosophy of how I want to move forward, but this will be a lot more instructional, so you're going to take a lot more lessons away from this than the first video, but it'll still be kind of getting a glimpse into the mind of Xander and how I want to approach this channel and how I want to talk to you guys, my students. So I brought a book with me. As you can see, this is the Chronicles of Narnia. This is the novel I'm reading right now, and I thought that the front illustration here was an excellent illustration, an excellent image representing what I'm wanting to talk about today, and that's the self-image. So there's this book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Malcolm. Is it Malcolm? No, Maxwell. I don't remember the last name, but anyway, this book called Psycho-Cybernetics. It was written in like the 1950s or something around there, and it's considered like the Bible of self-help, and it's for very good reason. One of the very big points in there that he points out is the self-image, and how there's two very core characteristics of this self-image that allow for incredible opportunity to change one's life in dramatic ways that you might not even right now believe are possible. The first one, after the discovery of the self-image, which was just fascinating in and of itself, the first characteristic of this self-image is that it is consistent always within everybody with how they feel, how they think, how they behave, how their patterns that they demonstrate. So, for a great example to illustrate how the self-image might manifest itself in somebody's life, if you've ever known somebody, or maybe you know yourself to be someone like this, that suffered in a toxic relationship, and despite knowing logically that they're not supposed to be in that relationship, they should probably end it, they should probably find somebody better, their self-image is what's not allowing them to leave, because they have cemented it into their identity that they are that kind of person. So whether it was because they saw their parents like having that sort of relationship dynamic, or maybe they're just insecure because they were not popular in school, or they were like demeaned or belittled because of their like lack of academic intelligence or whatever, whatever they went through, they got it into their psyche that they are that person, they deserve that treatment. And that's just a manifestation. How it relates to you though, with this whole socializing thing, and by the way, this is not exclusively for the person out there that is interested in either not drinking or reducing their drinking. This is a very, very, very broad and very powerful concept that you can apply to not only relationships, but also to money, to your health, your mental health, your physical health, and whatever else. I really can't think of any other domain that is relevant to improving the quality of one's life. But anyway, the self-image is a very powerful concept. That first point is what I already said, which is that the self-image is consistent, or really rather, it's probably more helpful to say that every thought, every feeling, every behavior, every pattern is consistent with your self-image. The second big point from this book that I took away about the self-image is that the self-image can be changed. And he goes into detail about how to do that in that book. I strongly, strongly recommend it, even though I'm not finished with the book yet. I'm reading that as well. That's I'm like in chapter 9 or something. But anyway, he goes into how to do that, but I'll leave that for another time as well. This concept of the self-image is very near and dear to my heart, because I guess I'm not sure if I've alluded to this very much yet, but anyway, I guess I'll just say it again in case I already have or haven't. I've consumed myself a lot of social education online, just like you are right now. And I always was like somewhat irritated whenever the producers that I was learning from would frame the way that they speak to you, the way that they spoke to me, as they're speaking to a loser, and they're desperately struggling to convert that loser into a lion. And it was frustrating, because even as I was learning, I knew that I wasn't a loser. I might not be, I'm definitely more now, but I wasn't when I was especially on the up and up. I'm not perfect by any means now either, but especially when I was on the up and up, I wasn't as socially inclined as I could be. I wasn't as proficient as I could be. I didn't have as much experience as I knew others had, a lot of others had, especially those that drink alcohol, right? But whenever they spoke to me like that, even if they never directly called me a loser, whenever they had those implicit assumptions, it kind of dragged me back. And so as soon as I noticed that effect, I drew back to the degree that was necessary for me to stop that downward slump, because I could feel whenever I was listening to them speaking to me as if they were talking to a loser that they were trying to convert into a lion, I was adopting that identity just unconsciously. I am aiming to speak to you who is already a lion. And make no mistake, this is not an assumption. It is not me wishfully thinking, hopefully thinking that you are already a lion. I know, I promise you, you are already a lion. And that's why I'm speaking to you not as a loser that I'm trying to convert into a lion, but as a lion whose eyes have been shut. And my job is to simply open them. And that's what I want to do with this channel. That's what I want to do with the whole business. And I'm going to do it in a lot of different ways. But so that's the big point, and I hope that if you do skip away from the video at this point or at sometime soon, that is swallowed. You really take that with you, and you remember that every time you watch a video from me, if I ever come across as I'm speaking to a loser that I'm trying to convert into a lion, you know that I've fallen from what I really value. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. And yeah, until next time. Thank you.